Totally. The single highest return on investment thing I've ever done, and not to sound trite here, but I just like using scenarios. Like if I had taken all the money that I'd spent on coaching, mentorships, courses, workshops, seminars, and put that in the S&P 500 10 years ago, the amount that I would have right now is inconsequential compared to what I currently have, because I invested in something different. Rather than investing in the S&P 500, I invested in the S&P 500. I took all of the excess cash that I had every single month, and rather than saying like, oh, I'm at a dollar cost average, I'm long term, I wait 40 years, whatever. I was like, I just don't make enough money. I could be the millionaire next door who saves every penny, doesn't go to Starbucks for my entire life, and have $2 million when I'm old, or 8, whatever.
For the last 10 years of my life.
Right, and literally enjoy nothing during that period of time. That doesn't sound like that's not a trade I wanted to make. And so I had a belief that I know I will work hard, and if I'm given the right tools, I will be able to implement them. And so I took all my extra money, and this is kind of, a lot of people might not necessarily agree with me on this, but it worked for me. So I put all of every dollar I had, even went into debt, to get access to communities and mentors and coaching programs and masterminds.
Yes.
Those were the biggest gifts of all. The biggest gifts I got from those wasn't even the education, but it was the perspectives on reality. It was people disproving things that I thought to be true. I was like, this is the way the world is. And they were like, that's false. My whole paradigm shifted because I had distortions of reality. I thought reality was different than it was. And so right now, for people who are poor, it's because they actually don't see reality for what it is. Because the way they see reality, they see making money to be impossible or incredibly difficult, only for a certain select people, not for them, right? And it's just because they literally cannot see it. An easier example is like kids and parents, right? Like a kid thinks the world is a certain way, and the parent's like, you just haven't seen enough stuff yet. And so you level up in the entrepreneur space, there's also just more levels of that where other people are like, this is the perspective you need to have. And you're like, no way, that's possible. And so that's where those rooms gave me the highest ROI. The other skills, because there's so many people there trying to learn the same things, they already said, hey, get this program, read this book. And so they helped sift through the mountain of information that's out there, because I only have one resource, which is time. That time, right? And so it's like, okay, I'll spend it, but where do I spend it? And they were like, okay, if you want to learn real estate, these are the top 3 guys. You can join this Facebook group, get into this guy's community. He has a coaching program that helps you do wholesaling. This guy's a coach that does this. This guy does it. And so it's like, which one do I choose? The answer for everybody who's curious is do them all. Do them all. Like people are like, which one should I do? I'm like, you're not going to be poorer by learning more.
Right.
Right? And then it's not like you have a finite capacity to learn. The more you learn, the better you get at learning. Right? And then the more lines and synergies you find between different skill sets and opportunities,
the more dangerous you become.
100%.
If you just learn cold calling, but you didn't also learn copywriting and email marketing or speaking on stage, it's the combination of multiple skills that make your earning power so much greater.
I'm literally getting goosebumps. Dude, I love it. It's the compound.
Yes.
And so I have this example where I break down Jay-Z, right? And so if you look at Jay-Z in the beginning, like, he probably had a natural proclivity for rhyming and beat or rhythm, whatever, right? So that was his first kind of skill. He probably practiced that a little bit because he was into it. And then he started rapping, right? So that was his first level skill. And then he learned writing lyrics. And it's like, okay, so that's another
producing,
skill. Right, and exactly. Then he learned producing. And then he learned marketing. And then he learned
performing on stages or something.
Yes. And then he learned how to sign other people to how to start a label. And then he started learning. And so with each of these skills, it wasn't 1 + 1. It was like 1 + 1 + 1 = 10. If someone's good at math, they can learn accounting or bookkeeping first. Okay, that's a level 1 skill. Then you learn accounting. Okay, now you're making more. And then you learn how insurance works. Okay, now you can start to see this person evolve. And then you learn how tax and tax efficiencies work. And you're like, oh. And then you learn how to package and sell businesses and negotiate those deals with, private equity and things like that. All of a sudden, that's a CFO. That's somebody who's making multiple $1 million a year, but it's the same basic few skills that stack on top of each other and get disproportionate returns on all the prior skills with each new additional skill.
Yes.
And so the idea is +1 + 1 = 10. The idea is not, which course should I buy? Which program should I do?
It's yes.
Do them all.
Yes.
Do them all.
Yes to all, yeah.
Yeah, you want, because each one of them you will learn things. And there's going to be either different ways that someone's teaching, they'll have different communities, they'll have different beliefs, you'll learn from all of them. And so with each of these skills, it wasn't 1 + 1, it was like 1 + 1 + 1 = 10.